The Pecos Beast. Remember story from a while ago. Must have been in 6th grade when I heard it out at scout camp. Remember the night in general atmosphere was thick. The teenager who was trusted to watch us. We were retarded 11 to 12-year-olds who would believe most ghost stories, but this one was different. Scout leaders were out somewhere, trusted us to not burn the place down. Lit a fire and let us make marshmallows. Start telling ghost stories, the usual shit. The teenager watching us, although has another idea. Tells us of the Pecos Beast. Shapeshifter can take the form of your tent mate to eat you if you sleep alone. Think it's bullshit, but the tone in his voice, tell us of his experience, say it all. Mentions how one day his camp buddy had to leave early. He went back into his tent and he was still lying there. Teenager freaked the fuck out. Told us he ran out and waited for a bit. Said fuck it and slept with another campmate. I was thinking it was bullshit or he went in the wrong tent. Later that night tent buddy goes to sleep with some others. Stupid polar bear challenge thing, not dumb enough to wake up early to get sprayed with cold water. Camp buddy leaves the tent and I go to sleep. Notice a feeling and I swear I saw something creep out of my eyesight. A shadow-like creature, lanky and big, had only 2 legs, no arms. Freaked the fuck out and immediately open up my lantern. Cry myself to sleep that night with my pocket knife out. Write something in the journal that we had to keep about it. Still have it somewhere in the house, just lost. Keep hearing strange noises like rustling in the night. Remember old story my grandma told me and start to carve a cross into the tent's wooden base. Go to sleep and wake up next day fine. I thought I must have just been seeing shit in the night because I was scared. The return. Be me now. Need work for the summer. See that Gorham is looking for staff. Apply and get the job. Wish me luck, Anons. Before I get into this, almost everything I'll mention is completely undocumented. The government does as much as it can to hide events that make them look bad, unless they can rewrite the narrative like they did with the Michigan militia. For my sake, this post is a joke. Complete satire and is not real. It is a spooky story. You aren't meant to believe this. Be me. 16 at the time. Late 90s. A part of a vigilante group gang with no name because it was newly created. Our goal was to resist federal control military in the South and to resist the Ku Klux Klan. We were a pro-South, pro-Confederate group, our biggest concern being the South's independence. Our costumes were similar to PIC related. We wore masks we made ourselves with skulls on them, usually with dark clothing. What most are taught about the Civil War are half-truths or outright lies. They do this to justify the North's war and occupation of the South. Most of the Klan is meant to perpetuate their narrative. The Klan was originally like us, but federal agents began infiltrating different chapters and changed the goals of the Klan. The federal-controlled chapters were the ones burning crosses and murdering black people, all to control the narrative. The only legitimate Klan chapters either went into hiding or disbanded. You do not ever hear news of the actual Klan. The most my group did was raid on Klansmen in eastern Tennessee, where we had shot dead 13 Klansmen federal agents, with the rest fleeing. We requisitioned their arms they had stored at the location as well. My group had seen the horrors the federal-controlled Klan has done. Freemason rituals, I believe you guys would refer to them as, perhaps Luciferian. Some of our friends have been murdered by them, which is what ultimately made us do what we did. After our first successful raid, we got news of another Klan base in the mountains and activity in the areas. We wait near sundown before we head out to the location so that the dark covers us. It was deep in the mountains, and the last bit of the way to it had to be on foot. On our hike to the location, pieces of white cloth are scattered across the woods, which had us nervous. Once there we find an old cabin, likely something the Klan had built decades ago. The windows are broken, and a few Klansmen had been torn to shreds inside it, their bodies smelt of rot and had likely been there for a few days. Whatever had done that to them wasn't a bear or wolves, especially not in Tennessee. Whatever did it was actively hunting them for the sport. The moon is out, and none of us think it's smart to hike back in the dark. We reluctantly take post in a room, unable to sleep due to the smell and the tense atmosphere. We wait for hours maybe, and we hear a howling-like noise. Be me. 12 or 13 years old. Visiting a friend whose parents own a farm with a lot of land. Decide to go for a bike ride in the nearby woods in the evening. We did that regularly, even built our own dirt track once. Gotagafus.exe. Starting to get dark. Decide to turn around and head back home. Friend suddenly comes to a halt. Hey, do you hear that? Hear what? We stay quiet for a moment. Start hearing what sounds like someone or something being in great pain. Sounds Gollum, if he was fucking massive, and had late-stage lung cancer while shrieking. The sound was inherently dissonant, like it was several voices that were out of pitch. Decide to head in the direction of the sound, because 13-year-olds. It gets louder, and feels like it is drilling itself into my skull. We put our bicycles down and quietly sneak up a hill that would let us overlook the field we hear the shrieking coming from. I still nearly hurl at the thought of it. It was a deer shitting out a giant mass of writhing intestinal worms. Say you and ride back home. Never again going to romanticize the rural lifestyle. Post your theories on spooks in the woods, experiences you've had with them, etc. I'll go first. I've posted here before, but it's my only true spook experience. Be me. 17 at the time. Be in high school with part-time job. Job is feeding cows for grandpa. It's early winter. Jutstarkersooner.png. Get cow feed, and everything work truck. Go to first farm. Already dark. Forget keys like tard. fml.exe. Grab 2 buckets at a time. Walk them 40 yards over gate. Whistle to stay upbeat and because oddest. After getting done head back to truck. Barely hear noise over leaves crunching. Sounds like someone learning how to whistle. Weird but animals or something. Next couple days. Keep hearing the whistling. Story of Dimitri the Shaman. Be me, 19 from Birmingham. Just moved to Unu in Scotland. COVID hits, so boring as shit, no parties, no gaffs, just bored out of my mind. Smoking outside of my Unu apartment one night, silent night, like 2 a.m. Suddenly the door flies open, and a half-naked dude jumps out, putting a shirt on the go. He runs for a couple of meters before looking at me. The dude is covered in hickeys and tattoos, all below neck and elbows, some weird runes, Cyrillic and animals, tons of amulets around his neck, half a dozen rings and bracelets. Literally more jewelry than clothes. He stares at me with a predatory look, then snaps his fingers at me and asks for a condom. I kindle laugh and give him one out of my wallet. He smiles in the most creepy way possible, slowly, overshowing his teeth, and rips an amulet from neck, not taking it off normally, but ripping the string. Walks up very, very close to me, smells of sage and vodka, and puts it in my hand, stares into my eyes and says something in a foreign language. Later that night, 3 a.m. or so, smoking with my flatmates, the same dude walks up to us from the dark and shouts condom boy. Thanks. My friends start laughing. He walks up to us, wearing even more jewelry and now dressed. Smokes a cig with us. Everyone is kinda curious who TF is he, cause we never saw him before. He just tells us that he came today, ignores our questions about where he is from, ignores questions about what he does for a living. Jokes a lot, tells us weird shit about egregores, spirits being strong here, and how he does readings and rituals for cash. Pulls me aside when he finished the smoke. Asks me about the amulet, I show it to him, a bronze plate with a letter rune. Tells me that he made it himself, and it will protect me. Whatever. MP3. Toss it in my trash pile, Aka wardrobe. Some time goes by, we chat a bit more, the dude is deranged, drops acid every other week, smokes weed and backy like a maniac. Short and lame, and not scary story. Be me, high school age. Class in the noon. Everyone stood outside classroom waiting for teacher. Second floor, like pickerel, has a view to the outside. Fucked around with my faggot group. Some nigger pointed at the horizon. Everyone in the group saw it. Something black just hung up there. Smaller, maybe it was just too far away, literally just a black spot, but the shape was rectangle, maybe like a box. Perfectly standstill, no movement, it just hung like the sky opened up a small window. Hung quite high, but not too high, a little above the second floor where we stood. Nothing surrounded it. Not a kite, kites moves and never seen a kite that blacker than a nigger. Not a drone either. And not the fucking sun, it was far too small, and the sun was directly above us, because it was noon. Everyone ignored it, somehow no one had the idea of capturing it on camera. Class finished in evening. Checked it. Gone. UFO visited my 30 shithole. Be me, 6'1" 200 pounds green eyes. Always out late at night, feel awake more. Can't sleep cause I usually drink a fair amount of beer and wanted to have more. Smoking cigarettes standing on a ledge. Hear leaves rustling ever so quietly. It's almost a full moon, see something hide behind a tree. Didn't look like a face, looked beige but pale. Just stand there for 10 minutes and stare at the cluster of trees. Wondering if I'm tripping. Have been highly spiritually connected at points in my life. Start to wonder if it's a mountain lion or a lynx. Dogs are out with me and didn't notice it. Feel extreme anger for a moment. Thinking about walking down there, but don't have any weapons on me. It's oddly quiet, and the dogs are looking the other direction watching my back. Germanchiperd.jpg. Felt a little uneasy, and then figured if it was a demon Ijif. Christ is king. It was but pale, and beige I only saw it ever so slightly, like it was peeking around the tree. But I was already looking in that direction so maybe it was studying me? I wasn't drunk. Feels odd thinking about it now for some reason after reading some posts in this thread. Be me. Early 20s. Used to go solo camping and take acid shrooms. Mostly fine experiences. Nighttime was always weird though. I'd be still tripping with heightened sense of my surroundings. One time I heard something rustling then leaves semi-close to my hammock. Figured it was no big deal. Tell myself I'm tripping and liable to hear noises. Rustling gets slightly closer. No big deal, I'm not going to worry about it. Rustling gets closer and louder, sounds like a big animal. I'm starting to get nervous, grip my knife all while telling myself I'm just tripping. Rustling and big branch breaks. Thick branches have unmistakable deep sound to them when they break. At this point I say fuck being quiet. Yell loudly hey. Mysterious noise and rustling leaves. I've had another experience where I camped on an island alone, same story with tripping, and I knew there to be an Indian burial cave close to my campsite where they used to drag their dead and dress the corpse. I heard talking from that direction at night which was crazy because I took a motorboat to the spot and knew there weren't any other campers. Be me. 4 or 5 years. Stay with my grandpa for a short while. He decides to make me do some manly things, to put some hair on my chest. We go out one morning to pull some weeds to sell to nurseries, fish for dinner, and to teach me the different types of trees in the area. Out by dawn, we load into his pickup. He brings a shotgun. We drive out into the mountains for a while. Area goes from clear to impossibly thick fog in moments. Goddamn, keep your ass inside and on. He leaves the truck shotgun in hand. Get your tree fucking ass out here you goddamn idiot. He fires the shotgun. Gets back into the truck. Says nothing and pops open a bottle of root beer and hands it to me, pops open a bottle of beer for himself. Fog disappears by the time we finish our drinks. He just keeps driving like nothing happened. Rural Alabama's a different sort of place.